So welcome everybody. As Renee said, my name is Alphonso Esposito with Fierce Trading, and let's just get to it, shall we? So of course, I'm going to start off with just the disclosure. Of course, just make sure that you're trading smartly. You're not risking money that you can't afford to lose, and everything today is obviously, of course, educational. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about today is intraday momentum trades, and I'm going to have some chart examples for you, as well as a couple of charts just from this morning's trading before we moved over to here. Our day trading room was open, and we had a couple of nice trades on MGM, so I'll show you those. And I'm really going to make this presentation pretty simple. I don't really complicate my trading very much. I keep it really easy, not a lot of indicators, just really have a specific trading setup that has an edge, and I just duplicate it over and over again, and works out really well. So visually though, I know that most traders are visual, so I'm going to just show you an example of what I'm referring to as an intraday momentum trade in 2 slides, and then we'll get into building it and giving you the plan on how we do it, okay? So let's get to that. So I am just going to, here we go, visually just kind of show you here. So this was actually yesterday, HRB. This was my business partner, Fabio, traded this. So this, and I'm going to go over why this trade made sense, but I'm just going to show you kind of visually. There's that this 2-minute chart. There's the little pause on this strong day 1 move that had crossed over a pivot, and there's the momentum trade. So I'm going to go over this trade a little bit later. I have the slide back up towards the end, so we'll go over that in detail, but I just wanted to kind of visually show you what I all mean by that, okay? And then the next one is AA. This is from a couple of days ago. So this is on a 15-minute time frame. And this is another example of just a 15-minute pause on a stock that also had a pro gap that day. And I'm going to go over all of these rules and how we set these up momentarily. But there's the quick little momentum drop for a nice payday, yes. All right. All right, so let's get to the content. So intraday momentum trade. This is a trade that provides a great opportunity to earn consistent income each day with relatively few trades. It allows you to capture moments in time when a stock is likely to move higher or lower in a rapid manner. And for us, as primarily morning traders, we want setups in trades that are going to give us a higher probability than not of moving in our intended direction quickly and rapidly, so that we can be in and out of trades, meet our income goals, and then be done. This type of trade setup that I'm going to show you accomplishes all of that. And then this intraday momentum trade that I'm going to teach you here today offers small stops with big voids, so we're able to capture maximum profits. Now, when I say a small stop, it's a technical stop. I'm going to show you plenty of examples. Typically, the stops that we find and are able to utilize each day in our trades are 20 cents or less. Sometimes they'll maybe get as high as 30 or 35, but for the most part, they're usually right around that 20 to 25 cents. So that allows us to take bigger size in our trades based on our risk per trade, and just need one quick swoop down or just a couple of bars down or up, depending on the direction of the trade, in order for us to get paid and be out of the trade. So who is this trade best suited for? Well, a trader who likes to know quickly if the trade will work. So one of the beautiful features of this trade is you pretty much know in one candle of the time frame in which you took the trade if the trade setup is, one, likely going to work, and then likely pay you, and then allow you to quickly not to almost eliminate your risk in half very quickly, and then almost to nothing, to make it so that you cannot lose on the trade. So you typically know within the candle in which you take the trade if the trade is going to work or not. Because, you know, for me, I don't like to be in a trade for a half an hour, having it just kind of hang around my entry point or even go against me, and just have to sit through that, hoping that it goes in my intended direction. I want to know quickly, and this trade setup allows us to do that. So a trader who likes a simple way to manage a trade as well. So trade management is also a very kind of a challenging thing for traders. You never know if you're leaving money on the table, or if you know, maybe you're missing out or what have you. So this type of trade is like I said, it's a kind of a pure income momentum trade. So long as you're clear about what your daily or morning goals are, you really won't have to worry about how to manage a trade. You're gonna basically capture the move and be done. And if it doesn't go in our direction, we're gonna show you ways to quickly tighten it up so that you're not taking big losses on trades, because then you have to, you know, have a lot of big trades to make up for lots of losing trades, and that's not the way we like to do it anyway. So a trader who, and also this is best suited for a trader who trades to make income rather than trade to be right. Now I know that might sound a little weird, but the truth of the matter is that most struggling traders, they're not really clear about their income goals or their outcomes. They're more or less kind of trading to be right, and look at this as some type of game rather than as a job, so to get paid. And so if you're, you know, one of the folks that just, hey, I just want to trade, I want to make money, and I want to get on with my day, this is going to be a strategy that you're going to like if you're a day trader. And then also a trader who believes in the power of probability. You know, the market is random. No matter how good a setup is, or no matter how things match our job description, the trade may or may not work. It's just the way it works in this business. And but if your job description is tight and you believe in the power of probability, then you'll have total confidence to take trades over and over and over again. So let's continue. So why trade just one specific setup? You know, actually I had a conversation last night with a trader who wanted to, who is struggling badly. I mean, just almost blew up $100,000 account, which is really sad. It just makes me hurt for that trader. You know, he started off successfully, and then he started to just add all kinds of strategies rather than just keeping it simple with the one setup that was making him money. And now emotionally, he's so damaged that, you know, he needs to really kind of get back on track. So hopefully he'll do that. But why do you trade just one setup? Well, trading is boring. But living life and making money on your trading, well, that's the fun part. But really, trading is boring. It should be. It should not be, you know, some game or some entertainment for you. It should be that you have one simple job, which is to make sure that you end the day with more money than when you started. Or if you have a losing day, to make sure that it's a very small loss, so that you're not trying to make up for it by some home run trade the following day or the following couple of days. And freedom, really, which is I think the reason most people get into trading, is to be free, both with their time and with their finances. And freedom is doing a job well. It's doing a job well. And doing a job that has specific rules so that you know that you're doing your job well. And one strategy with an edge, I can tell you, that will make you 6 figures a year. And you don't need to have a huge account to do that. You know, if you're a pattern day trader, you have $30,000 in an account, you can easily make, you know, $400 to $600 a day, which would put you at 6 figures a year or more, depending on how, you know, how good you are and how your account grows, and then increasing your risk as you're continuing to grow your account. And then the less you do in trading, the more you make. So the less you do, the more you make. Our goal is to, well, our trading room is pretty much closes every day, no later than 11:30, but most of the folks in the room are done almost always by 10:45, and then we just kind of review trades and talk about what might happen, you know, later on in the day for anyone that would plan on trading in the afternoon. Okay, so how do you locate momentum trades? It's always one of the questions I get, is how do you find trades like this? So one of the things that we always do is we identify a stock that's in play. Identify a stock that's in play. And there's kind of three primary ways in which we do that. One is during earnings season, we look for pro gaps. We look for gaps that have gapped because of earnings and have really gapped into a location that has damaged a chart or has created a momentum move, has people that are trapped, and the normal trader is who might have been in the stock the prior day is going to act irrationally. So pro gaps are one of the ways that we do it. The other day is a first day breakout, which is kind of like that HRB chart yesterday, which I'll review. And then a second day continuation where you have a wide range candle that may be ignited from a good demand area or ignited from a supply area and still has a void to the next area where likely buyers would step up or sell. And so you have that continuation day, kind of following Sir Isaac Newton's law that things in motion will tend to stay in motion. Okay. How am I doing on time here? I'm good. Okay. We like to almost always identify stocks that have an average true range. That's what that ATR stands for, greater than 75 cents. I mean, we want to make sure that we get paid. So I'm not really personally, I'm not really interested in trading a stock that trades like 30 or 40 cents a day. You know, that would require me to really have a significantly small stop and lots of shares to get paid. So we like to have stocks that at least have the ability to move and create a void intraday so that we can get paid. Because, you know, that's really the name of the game, is to make sure that you're getting paid and meet your income goals. Obviously, too, we look for price that allows you to trade. For us, for me, and Fabio, and most of the room members, is trade at least a minimum of 1,000 shares. You know, I can't remember a time that I've taken a trade less than 1,000 shares. So sometimes that puts me in the that, you know, I don't trade stocks that are, you know, like $900, but that's okay. I don't need to trade stocks that are $900. I just need to trade stocks that are in play, you know, from a pro gap, first day breakout, second day continuation. And this way I don't need huge moves, you know, a 30 or a 40 cent move on a couple of thousand shares, $800, and that's good enough. It's good to go. Get on your day. And then bid ask spread, in most cases, less than 5 cents. If it's a, you know, pro gap, you know, we have a little bit of wiggle room there, but these are just some guidelines for, you know, for some newer traders, just to keep an eye out for things. Okay. The other way that we find setups is through this fiercetrading.com scanner that Fabio has really set up beautifully. He's written some really great algorithms and to find specific things that we're looking for each day. And so if you're interested, you can obviously just go to fiercetrading.com/scanner and it'll tell you a little bit about it. And we also, Fabio actually provides his exact outline of the algorithms for people that do get the scanner. But we utilize this a lot when it's not earnings season, or we just don't identify a lot of things pre-market that are in play. Usually the scanner will help us identify those shortly after the market opens. Okay, and I'm going to get into here in a moment the specifics of the trade, but one of the questions that I often get is, so I thought I'd address it first, is, well, how do you choose the best stock to trade during a day? I mean, if you have like 5 different you know, candidates, you know, how are you going to choose the best one? So one of the simplest ways to do that is to have a clearly defined job description of what your momentum trade looks like. And I'm going to show you how ours looks like. You may decide that yours is different. That's totally fine. You just need to find your edge and go with it. But have a clearly defined job description. Now, most traders don't really have, at least struggling traders don't have a job description. You know, again, they get into trading because they want to be free, and you know, they've found this kind of utopia of this environment where nobody can tell them what to do. If you're a retail trader trading your own account. And so most traders are just kind of random in their approach, a little bit of Wild West. But freedom really comes by having a set of rules and a job description that you can follow and implement consistently. All right. Why isn't that switching over? That should be changing. I don't see it changing on your side over there. Oh, There we go. That's why. Write out your job description. So you want to make sure you have it written out. It doesn't need to be lots of pages. It can just be real simple. I'm going to show you ours here in a moment, but we want to make sure that you have it written out. And then as you implement just one strategy over and over and over again, it's going to become almost embedded in your brain. And the only time you'll make tweaks to it is after you go back and look at samples of trades and see if there's anything that you've noticed that can make it a little bit better, or make some tweaks to the edge. And then you want to make it, like I said, you want to make this job description tight and easy. You don't want to make it complicated, right? UPS driver gets in his truck and he has his addresses that he needs to go, and he does his job. He doesn't go 60 miles out of the way to come back to do his job, right? He wants to get it done efficiently, get home, be with his family. That's the same thing, okay? The clearer the description, the better the results. So again, it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be convoluted. You don't need tons of indicators. You don't need all of that stuff. You just need a simple job description for this intraday momentum trade to get the best results. So let's continue with this real quickly. So lastly, just kind of 4 points. Obviously, you want to be focused. Most traders early on, or that are struggling, they're not really clear about what it is that they really want to do. Like, they don't have an outcome. Like, I just want to make money, but that might not be enough. And so they're just, shooting at things, taking shots at things that really aren't moving them closer to their outcome. And that's where you got to be focused, have a specific job description so that you know exactly the trades that are going to move you towards that, rather than move you away from that. So in other words, if you have a daily goal of making $1,000, right, you're going to have a job description. You should have a job description, at least, that is going to give you more probability of moving you towards that than away from that, right? So if you're risking $400 per trade, you need then a couple of 2.5 times the risk, the 2.5 times your risk to get that, right? So taking a $1,000 loss on a trade because you weren't focused and you didn't have your outcome, you're moving yourself further away from what you're actually trying to accomplish. Then you got to be patient. You have to wait for the description to show up. You can't wish it differently. Just trade what is in front of you. And then you need to be disciplined. And this also kind of steps into that part of probability, where when that trade setup that matches your tight and easy job description appears, then you just take it. I mean, what else would you do? There's no point in thinking about it at that point. You know exactly the trade setup that you're looking for presented itself, you take the trade. And then you manage it. At that point, you become a risk manager, okay? How to effectively write a job description. So one of the ways that I think is easy to do, especially for a trader that maybe is not clear about, even if it's not intraday momentum trades, even if it's just swing trading or some other strategy that you may implement. Right? I'm sure that there's going to be some great speakers here today. There might be another strategy that really resonates with you. So, but whatever the strategy that you decide to become a master at, an effective way is to ask yourself some quality questions. So one of the things that we always ask ourselves is, like I said earlier, is this stock in play? I want to know that, there's good volume on the stock, that it's been maybe a pro gap, or it's a second day continuation from a demand area, or it's a first day breakout. But basically, I want to be trading with stocks that the big money is trading. And I want to avoid hanging around with novice retail traders that are imposing their beliefs on some stock that they're really the only ones looking at it and nobody else is. So I want to be trading with the big money because they're the ones that can move a stock. We just got to join them. So once you identify a candidate in play from some of those points that I've talked about in previous slides, then you just patiently wait for your moment in time. And again, I know everyone's visual and they want to see charts. I'm going to do those in a moment. But just kind of setting it up for you here. You want to have, with this strategy, this intraday momentum trade, you want to have a week, what we call a week, and I'm going to show you what it means in the chart. 1 or 2 candle pause that occurs if you're taking the trade short below volume weighted average price, or if you're going to go long above volume weighted average price. And then you want the long entry to be over the red candle pause, the pause candle right here, the the candle that's going to be the 1 or 2 candle pause. You want to go long over the red candle open, or short under the green candle open. Now, if you don't use red and green candles, then to go short, you're going to want to go under whatever candle, color-coded candle that you've identified as indicating bullish, and whatever can go over the open of any candle that you would identify as being bearish. Okay. All right, so let's look at a few examples. So this is that chart earlier that I showed you, which was that HRB chart from yesterday. So here was the daily chart, and this one was not one that came up pre-market. This was one that the scanner that Fabio has programmed for us identified, which was a stock that didn't really have any significant gap, just kind of moved, just came out of nowhere. So as it traded up, it needed to get above this little pivot area, and once it got above that pivot area, if there was no sellers at that pivot area and it did some type of pause, then we had this room to trade it up to the next obvious area where people that might need to get out, or where any really selling would occur. This in between area right here is this nice void, which is the ability to make some profits. So that 2840, 2850 area is where that pivot was. So this stock just showed up on the scanner. It ran up, and just at that area right here, it paused, just did the pause. So this candle is either some folks that had taken it earlier that were taking out some profit, that were exiting out for some profit, or some novice day traders that were shorting here on a stock that really should have been, as it's this move and all of these folks in here short covering and some big institutions buying it, that they're shorting, a first day momentum move. Okay, and so this little candle presented itself, and the entry, like I just said in a previous slide, is right over the open of the candle. Then your stop, depending on how you want to do it, you can either use the entry, the red candle, the pause candle's low, or you can use the entry candle, and you get that quick run up. You have a nice less than 15-cent stop, and you get that nice run up into target. And then later it gave a nice 15-minute one right here. So if you're not comfortable on a smaller time frame, that's totally okay too. Totally okay. You still had this void, right? Expecting it to trade up here into this 2850 area. Nice little pause, just sad, just either people exiting out that had been long earlier, and they're going to fear that they left money on the table, so they didn't want to get back in. There's still this momentum move from the institutions buying it up, and you're going to have novice short traders that are shorting here, really at not a significant supply area, that as soon as it triggers above that, they're going to have to cover, and you get that nice little move up as well. So there's a nice fast momentum trade, less than 15-cent stop with a 40-cent move. So again, if you're risking $400 per trade, right, ends up being a nice income day there. Okay, let's continue. So this was that other chart that I showed you very earlier, which was that AA. So AA on this day had a really pro gap, almost took out an entire week of trading. So I mean, just imagine any of these folks in here that bought, right? They're just like, they have no clue what they're doing. They're just completely wounded at this point. And so what we wanted is to have a nice momentum move down, which we got right out of the gate. This is this pre-market data over here. Here's the opening, runs right down, still has a nice void down into 52. And it gives just this little pause, this little sad candle. It's like pathetic. It's like some just weak buyers in here. Like, who's buying here at 53, right? There's who's buying here. It's just novice buyers, low volume, nobody of significance. And so if the next candle opens up inside this candle, entry, stop, and should get, from a probability standpoint, should get the quick little run down, which it did. I'll show you. I think I took a picture of that chart, but that next candle just dropped 40 cents on a little tiny 15-cent stop, and boom. Here's another one, Twitter. I'm going through these just because I got a late start, so I'm gonna go through these a little bit quicker. Here's Twitter. This was back, I don't know, it was like earlier this month. It was on this day right here. So Twitter, again, something that the scanner picked up wasn't really a significant gap or anything, but it picked up because it was doing this big move down. So Fabio's scanner is right on that. He has that thing programmed so tight that it finds these types of moves. And wouldn't expect any type of buyers to really come into this stock until here. So you really got this void to trade in. I got that nice little void. And then the same thing, you just get this nice little 15-minute, just, some buyers that tried to step up, going against the grain. No real big institutions are going to step up likely until down here. Why would they? If you're kind of think like an institution trader would, there'd be no need for them to really buy here, right? To let it pull in a little bit more. They're longer term holders of things. And look at this sad, it's like so sad little candle. And then the next candle opens up and starts to go green. So it gives these folks hope. They're like, yes, they're going to get to their target. And then it immediately starts trading against them. Entry, stop, and just huge move. $1.50 away from the next demand area. And then you just capture that, just manage it bar by bar. Just, enter in, stop, tiny little stop. And you get, a $1.50 move. One trade. Beautiful, right? All right, let's go to the next one. This was Twitter on this day right here. So I'm showing you half the day here. I'm going to show you the rest here in a moment. So Twitter did have this gap up. I did. This stock did gap up, and its first level where it might pause would be here at this pivot. And if it can just pause and not find a lot of sellers at an area we would expect sellers, then we should have a nice void to the next area, which would be up into here. So that area is about 30, 35, 30, 40. And it gets to that area with just a big bullish candle. I mean, opened at the low, ignited right from volume weighted average price, ignites up, just opens at the low, virtually closes at the high, and then just pauses. This like little weak retracement, couple pullback, couple inside candles on a smaller time frame, and it just closes in this just area where we would expect sellers, where there are no sellers. So we have a nice little momentum trade setup. Entry, 1 penny above the open. Now the stop you can either use here, or you can use the entry candle. So if the candle opens up and it goes a little red first, giving these folks hope even better, then as it triggers through here, then you can use that as a stop. Or if it just opens up and starts to go green, you can use that as a stop. Or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, you can use the low of the pause candle. And, oh, I thought I put that next one in. Oh yeah, there it is right there. And so there's the entry. So opens up, triggered 1 penny a little lower, just kind of basically opened up, triggered, traded 1 penny down. Entry, stop. I mean, where does it trade to? The next area of supply, 32. So, here's less than a, 20-cent stop, 21-cent stop. That runs virtually easily $1.50. Now, you don't even have to catch the whole $1.50. You just have $1 stop on a 30-cent stock, $30 stock that has a bid and ask spread of a penny intraday. So if you're risking $400 on a trade, you can comfortably take 2,000 shares, and even if you get 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 cents of the move, you've more than made your high three figures or into the $1,000 range for the day with just one simple little easy trade with the momentum. Okay, let's go to the next one real quick. This one was this is actually today, so this was MGM. Right, I mean, turned on the screen this morning and this thing showed up. It's like opening here. It's like, I mean, come on. All right, I mean, look at all of these folks that were just, and so what we were looking for is just some weak little green candle in the open, just this weak little green candle. And so on the 1 minute chart, it went up, formed a little doji candle, entry 33.41, just weak little retracement. So right 1 penny under the open, 33.57 for the stop, and first target into the previous low of the day, just 3 minutes. And then later on in the morning, it gave a 5-minute one right here. So that was up here, the original entry. And then there was this 5-minute one right here. I mean, who's this? Who are these people? Like, really? Like, who are these buyers? Not anybody that matters. Totally just novice, insignificant buyers that are just randomly trading, going, I don't know, MGM's probably going to go higher. I don't know, maybe it will be. And then the next candle opens up completely, as soon as it triggers under there, just poof. So MGM was the only thing that we traded this morning for nice, easy. So I'm running out of time here, so I want to get to some questions. Before I do that, though, Renee always asks us to do something for some type of special for all of the great folks that come here. So we do have this 24-hour special. We do this program at noontime called Income Trader Live, which is really the place that we teach. Our day trading room is more for traders, more for people that are already trading successfully or kind of at least know how we trade. We don't teach that much in the trading room. It's a kind of a funnel of ideas, more or less. But we're there to trade. Me and Fabio are there to trade. So we don't teach that much in the morning room. It's a funnel of ideas. But at noontime, Monday through Thursday, I teach this thing called Income Trader Live, where we focus on 4 stocks each day, and we set up short-term swing trades, afternoon day trades for the folks that are interested in afternoon day trades, and really identifying good areas of supply and demand where folks would want to consider buying. So I think Fabio set this up to be $27 for the first, what is it, a month? I don't know if it's a month or something like that. But it's, for 2 weeks. So it's for 2 weeks, okay? It's for 2 weeks. All right, and then we can get some questions. So I see some here. Do you trade options or only stocks? So for the momentum trades, I'm trading just stocks, but I will intraday stocks with, I will intraday trade with options, but typically on bigger stocks that are doing more of a reversal pattern. Again, I don't do a whole lot of those because I mean, I used to trade a lot more strategies. Now I just really focus on the one, but you can absolutely use reversal patterns if you'd like. Yeah. I mean, you can absolutely use options on momentum trades as well. Which platform broker do you use? So, well, I mean, there's no broker that's going to make you profitable. I mean, I use TradeStation. Fabio uses Interactive Brokers, but he uses Ninja Trader for his charts and his order entry. So, but really, as long as you have a broker that is robust enough, you'd be fine on, Lightspeed or Thinkorswim or anything like that. You'd be fine. Okay. Trying to see. So no, I don't use order flow. So I don't need to use order flow. It's just a thing's complicated that doesn't really make a difference for a momentum trade. All right, let me just see if there's any other thing that I see here. Do you share a link for the layout? Do you share a link for the? Well, so we share. I think Fabio shares the link for folks that actually enroll in the scanner, and I don't think it's very expensive. It's like I'm not sure, but it's pennies on the dollar, I think. So, but once you get it, then you can Fabio gets notified. You email him, and then he'll send you the layout.